Hi everyone, Lorna here. Hope you're doing well. I just wanted to talk more about directed conversation and just starting off from it was a bit odd how it happened with me, because I had been followed like probably about 20 odd years ago. I'd started noticing being followed. I did say about the time that I caught that private eye in the van, but there were a lot of other times around then when I had like my intuition would tell me not to go to certain places, or I would go somewhere and I would be guided to go down a dead end street, and then that's when I realised that I was being followed, because people would follow me down that street, and then they had nowhere to go, so they would park outside people's houses and just sit in their car. And so I used to outlast them, I'd just stay where I was and watch them, and it was like, why am I being followed? This is bizarre. But there had been some stuff that had happened, like I had a big awakening, and all sorts of spiritual stuff had gone on after that sacrificial routine that went wrong all those years back, so I just presumed it was all to do with that. And then many years went past where I wasn't followed, and then one day I was walking along the beach, and it was quite a busy day, and I noticed this guy that was like staring at me a bit as I walked past, and he just had a difference about him, almost like someone who, I live here in Queensland here, everyone's brown in summertime, and he was white and pasty, but he was hanging out with this young family who were a couple of kids there and the mum, and they were all tanned and, frolicking in the sand and playing and all the rest of it. But I kept on walking, and then my intuition, I'm just going to head back because that's too muddy. My intuition told me to stop and turn around. So I stopped and I turned around, and then I walked back a little bit and just sat near the family, not obviously staring, but just watching, out of the side of my eye what was going on. And shortly after that, the mum packed up all the stuff, packed up the little kids, and off she went. So he was left standing there like an idiot, because he wasn't actually with them. He was just pretending to be a part of their troop. So that was really weird too. And I just sort of gave him a greasy and walked on after that. But so that was all the way back then, and I hadn't seen. I know that they'd been keeping a tab, but there was nothing that really stood out until just towards the end of last year, where it really amped up. So I know from what I've learnt now, I've learnt about gang stalking, I've learnt about organised harassment, MK Ultra and all the rest of it, and I'm putting all of the pieces together about being on the list, and then when I look back on times in my life, I can, it's all coming together, and all of the odd things that I just let slide are all, it's all making a big, the big picture. So last year it really amped up. End of last year, when just after they tried to take my daughter and grandson out in that motor vehicle accident, I just decided randomly to take a train ride up to Brisbane here, and I got on the train, and a couple sat in front of me, and they made it overt, I'm going to say, because she had a cherry hat, a hat with depictions of cherries on it, with pants to match. They were a couple in their 50s or something, and they sat right in front of me, and I'd never heard directed conversation until this particular time. And the day before that, I'd been researching Mesopotamia in relation to the Bible and all that kind of thing, because sometime before that, I'd had a car reverse into me, and it's a long story, but anyway, it ended up being the guy who reversed into me. He owned a restaurant at Broadbeach, and the restaurant was named Mesopotamia. And so it was just such a random thing. But these people in front, they made sure to sit right in the seat right in front of me, and they're having a conversation between themselves, which I couldn't be bothered listening to people, you know what I mean? I'm just sitting there in my own thoughts, looking out the window, enjoying the view. And in the middle of the conversation, he turns his head, raises his voice, turns his head towards her so that it's directed towards me, and he says, oh, yeah, about those maps of Mesopotamia. And I thought, oh, that's odd, you know. And then just went back to ignoring them. And yeah, so he had that pasty kind of look about him as well. Actually, she did too. They looked like middle-aged, like old-age swingers. That's the look they had. So anyway, I got off the train, went and did my touristy thing. A couple of hours later, randomly just got back on another train, and as I arrived on the platform, they're standing there again, and gets back on the train again and sits near me again, you know. So anyway, I just put that into, well, that's weird kind of thing. But shortly after that, I took a trip down to an area here, about 3 or 4 hours drive south, and I had booked an Airbnb. And when I got into the Airbnb, the woman was just so odd, like so oddly behaved. It was in someone's home. I just, rented the room. They had a pool there and all that kind of thing. But it was basically, when you do that, like I've done that many times over the years, you just do your own thing. But she was asking me probing questions, and I ended up saying to her, look, I'm not really talkative. I'm just sort of, just getting over a bit of a shock. I've nearly lost my daughter and grandson in a really, bizarre accident, and so yeah, sorry if I'm not really talkative, and just sort of left it at that. And she was like, oh, okay, and she walked into another room, and as I came around the corner, she came back out, and she had this really like sad look upon her face, and I said to her, oh, it's okay, I'm dealing with it, it's okay. And she said to me, oh no, I was thinking about my boyfriend. And I thought, that's a bit cold. And then she proceeded to tell me all of her dramas with her boyfriends, and me being how I am, I was just trying to give her some advice and was empathic towards her and all the rest of it. But I thought, this is really odd. The whole conversation felt off. And during the conversation, she threw in something about, because it was in a country area, and she threw in something about the farmers in the area all selling out to planting blueberries on their properties. And then, it's that da-da-da moment where they're directed you towards something that they want to say. And she says at the end of that, I guess everyone has their price. And I just looked at her and thought, oh, you're a narc. You are such a narcissist. And I said to her, not everyone. But yeah, at another stage there, actually on that same day, just shortly after that, she was commenting that she really liked my dress. And the dress, honestly, it's a house dress. It's from the 90s. I mean, they don't even have that design anymore. It's a really random random design, and it was just a comfy old flowy house dress, but I was like, oh, thank you. Anyway, the next day, I went up to an area that, because I'd asked her what's nice around the area to go and have a look at, any nice hikes or anything like that. So the next day I took a hike up to the area that she'd mentioned, and I bumped into two people up the top, a man and a woman, and guess what the woman's wearing? A smock top in the exact same design as my dress. So yeah, there's I don't know how they're doing it. How they mustn't have had enough material to make a whole dress, so they just did the top. I don't know. Look, it all feels like it's just satanic, the whole lot of it, to me. But yeah, I did just think to myself, oh, it's just because I've been through such a shock with everything that happened with my daughter and grandson, and my mind's playing tricks and all the rest of it. Tried to gaslight myself, basically, which is what I've done in the past. All those other times when weird things like that have happened. But yeah, for some reason, actually, it was Kevin on War of Narcissism, because I'd been through so many narcissistic relationships and had just realised what narcissism was, and that the narcissist and the empath what the dynamic there is and all the rest of it. And for some reason, all of that happened there got me researching, because his channel's called War Against Narcissism, and so it just randomly came up on my feed, because nothing about gang stalking or targeting individuals or any of that had ever come up on any of my feeds. And I was just so grateful to have found his channel, because after all of these years of dealing with these kind of things, it's really validating to know that no, I'm not alone with it, and there's many people that are going through this, and so yeah, if that's you and you're just looking at, you're having a bit of director conversation, you're only just starting to realise it about gang stalking and targeted individuals, I'll just let you know that you're not crazy, you're not alone, and it is 100% real. Anyway, that's it for today. There's some beautiful little magpies there in front of us, and God bless you all.